He appears in court a free man, confronted by history. Josef Schütz is over a century old, and his trial is taking place 80 years after the crimes he is charged with. The former SS corporal stands accused of being an accessory to the murder of 3,518 prisoners in a Nazi concentration camp. He's kept silent throughout proceedings, but for the lawyers of the civil parties to the suit, that's not what counts the most.
What's special about this suit is that for decades the German justice system did nothing of the sort. It's only since 2018, 2019 that it's been possible again.
The victims we represent all share the same objective, that we continue to talk about what's happened in the concentration camps, that we maintain that memory, and in the end we're able to deliver a fair verdict.
The trial is taking place in a gym converted into a courtroom so the accused would not have to travel far from home. The prosecution says Schütz, the oldest ever person accused of Nazi crimes, served as a guard between 1942 and 45 in the Sachsenhausen camp north of Berlin, a period the accused still refuses to discuss, even though German justice has now caught up with him. For the Central Office for the Investigation of Nazi Crimes in the southern town of Ludwigsburg, the hunt for war criminals must go on.
This is our main archive, which contains some 1.8 million files. It's here that we start every investigation at the National Center in Ludwigsburg. Here you can find all of the accused, the witnesses and evidence gathered since 1958.
Since its creation in the late 50s, the center's prosecutors have had the task of chasing down Nazi war criminals. They've undertaken 130,000 procedures and 7,000 preliminary investigations, including the famous Auschwitz trials in the 60s. But they marked the end of the big trials of Nazi war criminals. It was only with the case of John Demjanjuk, a former guard in the Sobibor camp, that the wheels of justice began to turn again. Since then, courts can condemn people for war crimes if they helped operate the camps. And so the Nazi hunters are now racing against the clock.
The Demjanjuk case got us started working on concentration camps again, where systematic crimes occurred. We carefully analysed all the personal documents. Soon we won't be able to find any living criminals, and that's why we are working with special care on these cases.
A justice delayed, but which still made it possible to condemn 4 former SS members for being accessories to murder, to sentences usually only symbolic given their age. Josef Schütz is also accused of having helped the Nazi killing machine operate as a camp guard in Sachsenhausen. Of the 200,000 people sent there, political prisoners, Jews, gays, and Soviet POWs, more than a quarter were killed. So for this historian working at the memorial at Sachsenhausen, the trial isn't just about keeping memory alive.
It's an important signal in the current political context in Ukraine, with war crimes being committed again in Europe. It shows that in a democracy, the prosecution of such people can happen a long time after the crimes were committed. This is due to post-war history, to the history of the justice system, but it will happen one day or another. So victims or descendants of victims can count on that, and criminals had better be ready for it.
The prosecutor is asking for a 5-year prison sentence for Josef Schütz. Some 10 other investigations are underway against alleged Nazi war criminals. All of them are over 90 years old.